All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Bold American Podcast. I sound like I'm dying. I'm not, but I cannot figure out my voice. Traditional remedies are not working, but we still have a lot to talk to you about today. And all of that is going to be brought to you by Brunt Workwear. Listen, everybody in the military knows you got to take care of your feet. And when you get out of the military, choosing work boots, it used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. However, enter Brunt Workwear. They finally ended that trade-off, designing boots that withstand the toughest job sites while feeling as comfortable as your favorite sneakers. And they might be the most comfortable work boots on the planet. I have a pair, been using them when I've been outside doing my yard work. And listen, they deliver real performance on the job. So whether you need waterproof, safety toe, or soft toe, pull on, lace up, they got you covered. And they're so confident these boots will blow you away that they will even let you try them on the job risk-free. Okay? So for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt with code BOLD at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com and use code BOLD and you're all set. And after you buy, do us a favor. When they ask you where you heard about Brunt, tell them it was from Bold American. So that's bruntworkwear.com, code BOLD. Rob, Ryan, last 72. How we doing? Hopefully you sound better than me.
Yeah, we sound way better than you for sure. My last 72, we've got a lot going on this weekend. I did the Manuwad. We're going to not talk about it until you guys do it. So I think next Monday,
Let's do a
debrief on that because it's still continuing on. So we got a lot going on. So I'm pretty sore today. I am at beautiful Liberty Hill, Union League Liberty Hill in Philadelphia. About to hit the links for our kickoff of the 2025 season for our golf tournaments. And, we're recording today on Monday, but we'll drop tomorrow this episode. And tomorrow or today, if you're listening to it, April 29th, it marks 18 years since my brother was killed in Iraq. So this is always like, I don't want to say a sad time for me, but it's sad, but a very reflective time of the year for me. So,
Ryan, not to go too deep into it, but how does it feel 18 years versus 2 years versus 5 years versus 10 years?
It's interesting because I remember when Travis was killed after on his 1 year anniversary, and I was talking to someone and they had lost their son and they said something like, oh, my son was killed like 12 years ago. And I couldn't even imagine being that far out from the loss. And sometimes it feels like he just died yesterday. And sometimes it feels like all the time in the world has passed. And so I always say that like grief is not linear and you never know when you're going to find and get hit by it. And so it definitely changes as the years go by. But I think as each year passes, I become so much more appreciative of the time that I had with Travis. So, I just get real sad that, the people that come into my life after he was killed didn't have the chance to meet him and know him because he was fucking awesome.
Do you take any solace in the fact that obviously I can appreciate that you miss your brother and it's horrible that you lost him, but out of that, I'm always like the glass half full guy, but out of that, you created his foundation and all the people that you've helped and impacted in the last 18 years. Does that give you any solace?
I mean, it does. I would obviously give every second of it back to have him here. But, I say like Travis's absence is loud, but his legacy is louder, and
oh, wow. I love that.
Yeah. So it's a caption for my post tomorrow that hasn't gone out yet, but
oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice. I love
it.
But
I mean, it's true. I mean, I always think about, gosh, what he would think right now. And honestly, my dad and I always joke around because he would be like, what the hell, guys? Like, are you kidding? My name is plastered everywhere. Like, you got it. And in fact, I'll tell you very quickly, it was about maybe 7 years ago. And we were already a very large organization at the time. And my dad comes to me and he's like, yeah, we're getting pretty big. And I think we need to change the name. And I'm like, what? He's like, I think we need to change it from the Travis Manning Foundation, come up with something that's a little more generic. And I'm like, why? He's like, well, I don't know. Is Travis really going to want his name everywhere like this? And I was like, Dad, that ship has freaking sailed. Like it's sailed, And, but what I always say is that Travis's name and his story and his face, it represents this generation. Right. And I think it's really important for us to be able to put a name and a face to this post 9/11 generation. And his name is one of them, the Michael Murphys, the Chris Kyles, and you think about like, you need that story and that name to fully understand and grasp what this generation of men and women who served and sacrificed were all about. So that would be my comeback to Travis if he was here bitching at me for, throwing his name everywhere across the world. So.
That's very cool, though. Suck it up, Travis. Deal with it, dude.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff, Ryan.
No, it's awesome. That's awesome. Rob, how about you? How was your last 72?
So last week I was in Austin, Texas for work. Funny enough, I happened to work and bump into with someone named Joe Rogan. And so if you've been to Austin, Texas, if you've been to Fort Hood or stationed there, you're probably familiar with the city itself and just how much it's blown up in the last few years. But we had a terrific work event with Joe Rogan, the man himself, and at his wonderful comedy, his comedy store called the Comedy Mothership. Crazy good lineup. It was a private event to support wounded veterans and some of the initiatives I'm involved with. So just a really amazing full circle moment for me, having been a big fan of his and listening to him since my first deployment in 2014, 2015. And so just a great work trip last week with a bunch of veterans that I work with in Austin, Texas. And it's crazy to see just how much that city's blown up, Connor, in like the last 12 to 14 years. Like
Don't love it.
It's crazy, man. It's a weird time to go back to Austin, Texas. It doesn't have that vibe like it had 10 years ago. It has this corporate kind of sterile feel to it. There's still some good spots like on 6th Street and around there, but it's a completely different town now.
Wait, so it was Rogan who's doing the event for wounded veterans, or your new company that is?
Yeah, so it was a little bit of both. The event itself was Joe Rogan and friends. So you had some comedy heavy hitters like Tony Hinchcliffe, Ron White from Blue Collar Comedy, that legend. Shane Gillis, who we all know and love. He was there. He crushed it. He had like 20 minutes of new shit. The club itself is it's incredible. You got to put the phones away when you go in. And it's just dialed in. The sound quality, it's unlike any other comedy club I've been to. And just a phenomenal event. And yeah, it was part and due to the new company I'm at. And so we took a bunch of wounded warriors and severely amputated veterans to this event. And it was just a good work event. But it's always, like I said, it's always interesting to go back to Texas because I've been going there since 2012. And so every time I go back, there's like another skyscraper, there's another tech company that's there. Yeah. I'm just reminiscing right now of the past a little bit.
I've never been to Austin, but
Really? Oh, wow.
But I'm going there I think I was telling you guys, I'm going there in September because Old Dominion is doing a benefit concert for Travis Manning Foundation. So I'm excited. I don't know. I got to look it up. A big venue. But I'm excited to see.
What sport is this? What sport?
Old Dominion.
It's a band. Like a country band.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like the college. Like Old Dominion's playing.
No, Old Dominion, the band, is doing a benefit.
I don't even know who that is. I've never even
Wow. Bro, get out of your EDC bubble and get some culture.
Unless it's techno or some fucking house music. I don't know who it is.
Well,
are they like jam band? Are they like Fish or something?
No, it's country.
Oh.
They've been around a long time too. They've like recently gotten more popular, but I've known about them for a while. I remember my sister put me on them a while ago. But yeah, they're very, very in vogue, I guess you could say. They're very top of mind right now in the country scene.
Oh, okay. I'll have to check them out. But yeah, let's go to Austin, Ryan. Let's get you inculcated. We can do some Terry Black, some barbecue.
Love it.
Catch a UT game maybe with our boy Nate. See Matthew McConaughey running around. But no, it was a super awesome event. The company I'm at now is veteran founded and very mission driven, unlike Amazon. So it's just nice to be back in that swing of things, working with a lot of great people, similar to how Ryan's organization is run. You know what I mean? Like those touch points. I kind of missed working with veterans, doing some good shit. So anyways, enough about that.
That's good. No, that's good. And you can you feel the difference when you wake up every day, when you feel like you have a purpose versus just, clocking in at a monster behemoth company like Amazon. And it's not to throw shade at Amazon, but it's almost too big that you can lose sense of what you're doing there.
Yeah, 100%.
So I get
you
it.
nailed that. Yeah,
I get it. This weekend, I discovered a new board game. I don't know where you guys stand on board games. I love board games. My wife and I love playing board games. It's not a new game. It's been around a long time, but I had never played it before. Have you heard of Catan?
I haven't.
no.
All right. Maybe some of our listeners have. Played that on Saturday night after we got home from a very nice dinner at Club 130 in Tenafly. The only reason I mention that is because it's the same chefs or proprietors as Fort Charles Prime in the city. Very cool vibe, very good restaurant. That's what we're doing right now is going to a lot of restaurants. Obviously, my wife being pregnant, having a little one at home, our social calendar is a little different than what it might be if she were not pregnant. But it's very, very heavily food focused. Speaking of food focused, I joined our colleague at Barstool Large on his
Saw
show.
that.
You got to try this. We went to Rocco's Steakhouse, learned all about the dry aging process for meat, which I had no idea about. I mean, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't understand the nuts and bolts of it. So that was very cool. And I joined him on his podcast. Large is one of my dear friends at Barstool. Had a lot of fun doing that. So go check that out if you're so inclined. You got to try this. But okay, enough about the weekend because I don't know how much time I have today because I don't know. I'm hanging on by a thread, literally.
You sound it
with this voice.
You're sounding better. Every sentence, it gets better.
Okay, so maybe I'm working it out and it's coming down a little bit.
I think you sound horrible. So
thank you. I appreciate the honesty. My wife has been digging into me maybe you should change how you live and maybe you should change some things.
Hey,
maybe
producer Sands can add some AI generated voiceover to you. Like we could add an accent or we could just, fix it up a little bit.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But a lot going on in the world. And we'll just start off the top with some more serious topics because we also have some less serious topics. So I like to get the serious stuff out of the way first. Right off the bat, the Pope funeral. The Pope died, as we know. There was a big funeral. A lot of people attended, tens of thousands. President Trump attended. World leaders attended. What did you guys got on the Pope's funeral, Rob?
I mean, just the tradition and the respect and honor of the whole event itself. I mean, the Catholic Church has everything dialed in. It's not that it looks militarized in a sense. I love it. It's like fascinating to see just how much effort and care. And I know this sounds very basic, but just seeing the images out of the Vatican, just even if you're Catholic or not, it just kind of puts you in awe. I'm Lutheran, but I've been to the Vatican a few times. I was looking to see if we'd see White Sox Dave in any of the content coming out, but that he didn't appear yet. But just the whole grandeur of it, it just kind of puts you in awe for a couple seconds. And I just wanted to bring that up and just, we could use some of that decorum and some of that tradition, I think, in America. And it's just, the scenes are just astounding. That's all. And the respects, all the different cultures and presidents and heads of state that were there. And just the overall imagery coming out of the Vatican is just incredible. And then those Italian soldiers with that anti-drone gun. I don't know if you saw that post I got up over the weekend, but these Italian soldiers, it comes out, if I find out that they're drone guns, but they look like those guns from Halo. It's essentially like the size of like someone's arm. It's like 2 feet tall. It looks like something out of, Star Wars, but there were maybe 30 drone guns, anti-drone guns stationed all across the Vatican. So something we'll probably have to get used to seeing from now on.
Yeah. Ryan, are you Catholic?
I am. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Are you practicing Catholic? Not to put you on the spot, but
I go to church.
you go to mass on Sundays?
Not every Sunday.
Okay.
My kids go to Catholic school.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
No, and Rob, what about you?
I'm Lutheran. I go to church. I've started going to church more.
Yeah.
Recently. Not that I refound faith, but I definitely started going to church more recently and reading the Bible a little bit. I think having a kid will kind of do that to you. And some of the things I've gone through a little bit in the last few years in my recovery right now with alcoholism. So I definitely have a little more religious sense right now. And so just seeing those images out of the Vatican were pretty touching, even though I'm not Catholic.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, Belize, like, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of things the Catholic Church does. It's not great. And I think that's putting it lightly. But in terms of like the tradition and the ceremony of it all, they do a very good job of that. And I've always beautiful. It really is impressive to see, especially at that scale. And understandably, if you're going to do it for anybody, the Pope stands to reason he would be the guy you do it for. So that just not surprising to see that. But I'm interested always to hear from people who are not Catholic. Because the reason I asked you is like, I feel like if you grow up Catholic, you've been to enough masses, enough funerals, you've seen that, just not on that scale.
Right.
Before.
I mean, it was a Catholic funeral mass
at
a large scale.
Yeah, exactly. So, so that's why I always like, maybe not defensive is the right word, but like I get kind of bummed out when I see the Catholic Church make all the mistakes that it does, because like I like so many aspects of it that I'm always like shaking my fist at the sky, like knock it off, stop doing all these horrible things. And we don't have enough time in the day to go into all the horrible things they've done over the course of history. But that's where I stand on it. Recently, there was a Fort Cavazos soldier who got life in prison. Were you guys following this story from 2022 about Sergeant Greville Clark?
I was not, but then I looked it up, and it's horrible. I mean, horrible.
Yeah.
I think he should get the death penalty.
What do you think is worse, the death penalty or life in prison?
I mean, I feel like with the death penalty, you sit in prison for a long time, and you just, I don't know. I think
people almost look forward to it. There's people that like
look forward to the death penalty.
Off topic, but people are like opting in for like the firing squad now in South Carolina over like lethal injection and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But anyways,
well, these were heinous crimes, and all committed in the barracks, which speaks to the lack of security within the barracks. But I know that's actually, I know from the Marine Corps side of things, talking to some senior Marines, they're very focused on the barracks and getting them fixed up. But, I mean, this guy was like hiding in the shower and jumping out and brutally attacking women. It's disgusting. I mean, and the things that he did, oh God. When I was reading that article, it was terrible.
Yeah. And the barracks is not a place where you should feel unsafe. I mean, aside from the fact that, so many of our barracks have issues in just terms of the quality of the barracks and, mold issues, water issues, things of that nature. Obviously, we need to take care of that. But females should not feel unsafe in the barracks. And it's just a horrible way to live. So I was happy to see that this sentence was taken as seriously as it was, and that he was given 112 and a half years on top of the life sentence, reduction rank in E1, dishonorable discharge from the Army, and total forfeiture of pay and allowances. Now, I mean, aside from the fact that what he did was horrible and that should be a deterrent enough, I'm glad that it was so heavy-handed, because I feel like sometimes when people don't get a sentence that's commensurate with what they did, it doesn't serve as enough of a deterrent for people in the past. And there's horrible people that I think need to have those barriers in place to prevent them from conducting these heinous crimes. So I was very happy to see that it was such a heavy sentence handed down, and kind of sent a message that, hey, we're not going to tolerate this anymore, especially at Cavazos that has had so many problems.
I was going to say, like my thing on this just quickly is like, there's always something wrong at Fort Cavazos. I'm still getting used to Cavazos as the name, but dude, ever since I was at West Point, I did my CTLT at Fort Hood. Like, it's just, there's always some weird stigma there. Like, this shit always happens every year or two. There's a new story.
Well, it's huge too. I mean, that. So I think that plays into it, you know?
Yeah. No, I think that lends itself, because you see a lot of problems at Fort Bragg as well. Yeah. And I think it's just, yeah, the percentages are just increased by the number of people that are there, unfortunately. But anyway, I'm glad to see that former soldier got that life sentence. And hopefully we can start to trend in a better direction as it pertains to safety in the barracks and sexual assault, because that's the last thing that females and males, for that matter, should have to worry about when you're in the Army. The Army is hard enough as it is. The military is hard enough as it is. You shouldn't have to be worried about getting assaulted in your home. So glad to see that. Switching gears, Ryan, this is no longer my guy, because he's no longer a Giant now. He's an Eagle. Saquon Barkley catching a lot of flack for playing golf and then going to the White House today with President Trump. And he tweeted, LOL, some people are really upset because I played golf and flew to the White House with the all caps president. Maybe I just respect the office. Not a hard concept to understand. Just golfed with Obama not too long ago and look forward to finishing my round with Trump. Now you get out my mentions with all this politics and have an amazing day. What do you think?
I think his response was perfection. I mean, yeah. I just saw it yesterday. I saw the picture of him sitting inside. He's sitting and then getting on I think he's getting on Marine One with President Trump. I mean, yeah, we got to stop. I mean, I don't know how many Eagles are down there today, but today the Eagles were invited down to the White House. I know there was the clip of Jalen Hurts where they ask him if he's going and he doesn't answer. But listen, I understand this. It's the office of the president. President Trump asked him to golf. He wants to play golf. You can't. I get really caught up and strung up on the idea that we're going to take people down because they're playing around the golf with the president, you know?
Yeah.
And I will say to that, and I'm challenged saying it, but I think there is a very big double standard as it pertains. I think if he was playing golf with President Biden, the backlash would not be there. So,
Rob?
Yeah, no, I love it. Honestly, I think more athletes should do this. It's funny, you didn't see too many athletes doing this, I think, when Biden was president. I think there was some respect there, but he also probably couldn't play around a golf.
I don't think he played a lot of golf, but
yeah.
Obama played a lot of golf.
Obama did, and he shot hoops and stuff. I love it. And regardless of what side of the political spectrum you're on, I think it's a good showing. I think it shows Saquon's maturity. What is he, 27, 28? That's awesome. Good for him. I love it.
I think his response was great. I think, yeah.
The whole thing about his response, Saquon, you can't say hey, don't make this political. It's political, my man. No matter what. If you play with a politician, then it's going to get political. You need to understand that.
It's political playing around of golf with the president. You think that's political?
I do. Yes, I do. I agree with his stance on why he did it. Because yes, regardless of who was in the office, if I got
Do you
invited
think
to
it's
play,
yeah, but do you think it's political him saying I just got done a round of golf with Obama not too long ago? Is that political?
yes, because Obama was a president. I mean, I think what he's driving at is he's trying to tell people like, stop giving me a hard time. And by mentioning Obama, he's playing both sides, saying he's trying to support his point that he's playing because it's the president, not because he supports President Trump or he supported President Obama. But you need to know going into this that you're going to get backlash because, especially with the current president and how much
Sure.
people dislike him, that you have to be prepared for that. So you can't throw your hands up and be like, guys, I can't believe you're so shocked and you're so upset that I played with the president. It's like, well, Saquon, there's a good portion of this country that does not like President Trump. So you got to know that's coming. Now, in his defense, Trump Bedminster, unbelievable course. 2 courses there. Unbelievable club. Really great golf. Unbelievable breakfast sandwiches, which, by the way, they will bring out to you while you're on the range. So if you got a morning tea time,
That's awesome.
you leave the locker room and you tell the dude, the bartender at the locker room, like, hey, can I get Taylor ham, egg, and cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup? I'm going to the range. They'll shoot it over to you. First class accommodation. Say what you will about Trump as a president. He does golf clubs really well. So I'll defend Saquon there. But I'm firmly in the belief, and Dave got a lot of backlash years ago when he, the first time President Trump was in office, and he went to the White House and interviewed him. And I remember, at the time, Frankie from Foreplay, who was working with Dave at the time, he went and he was just so in awe of everything about the White House. And that's the way I view it, is like, this isn't an American institution. It's the office. I think you'd have to be, I got to be careful what I say here. I would personally have a hard time passing up an opportunity to go to the White House. I guess I would have to really, really hate the president to pass it up, because I think that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. So I don't know.
Good for him. Good for Saquon.
Yeah. No, and it's a tough world out there right now in terms of social media. You're going to get backlash. Feels like you're getting it from all sides. So very, very tough.
It's worse now. It's worse now for sure. I've been at the White House I've been in the Oval Office with George Bush. I've done Memorial Day breakfast with President Obama. I've done breakfasts with Biden. And I've met with Trump. So I'm an equal opportunist where,
what an all-time name drop.
Yeah,
I was just mentioned the last 4 sitting presidents.
I
had cocktails with Bush and I had breakfast with Obama. And I'm on President Trump's Christmas card list. And Biden calls me on the weekends to let me know how things are in Delaware.
My point
wow.
My point to that is my most intimate meeting I've ever had with the president is President Bush. After Travis was killed, President Bush invited my parents and I to the Oval Office. And we spent over an hour with him by himself in the Oval Office. And it was very meaningful. But my larger point to that is that I think we as Americans, and again, I know there's a lot of vitriol hatred for President Trump, but you get an opportunity to share what's meaningful and what's important to you with a sitting president. Like, I'm never going to turn down that opportunity, especially when it pertains to work for our military community and our veteran community at large. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know what Saquon has on the horizon. Maybe he has aspirational goals.
He just wanted to play golf. So
maybe he just wanted to play golf. And like I said, Trump Bedminster, awesome club, 2 great courses. So I get it. Anyway, moving on, but sticking around football. Did you guys see clips from the Bill Belichick interview?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, I couldn't watch it. I like skipped through it.
So cringe. It's wild. The girlfriend sitting on the side. I had no idea how they met. I never even thought, how did they meet? It didn't even pop into my head. But when he says, "How did you meet?" and she so quickly says, "We're not going to talk about that." Now, all I want to know is how did they meet? I'm like, I got to know. I got to know how they met.
What did they say?
The story is, because he didn't respond, the story is they met on a plane, but it's quickly coming to light that there's no shot that actually is the story.
You think old Bill's just flying like commercial, like Southwest, and they happen to just like...
I mean, there is a story behind it. And now I feel like I have to get to the bottom of how they met. And she wears the pants in that relationship.
Very clearly.
Wow. She's 24.
Yeah.
He's 73.
That's wild, dude. That's just like...
And she's his muse.
I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, 73 and 24. What are you even talking about? Because the other thing too, Bill Belichick, unbelievable coach, obviously. He is the quintessential football coach, though, because at the college and NFL level, the amount of time you spend at work is basically like 85, 90% of your day, of your life is at work. Just the requirements of coaching at that level. So these guys are some of the weirdest dudes that we have in society because they don't get to get out much and do normal things. And I have no idea what they possibly could talk about on a daily basis.
I saw them not too long ago in Annapolis. I was at my house and I'm standing outside on the phone talking to my friend. And I see them, like the main gate to Annapolis is right outside where our house is. And I did a double take and I go, holy shit, that's Bill Belichick. And it was him and his girlfriend walking onto campus. And then later, I don't know who picked it up, but he was visiting his dad at the cemetery. And it was wild. His dad
was buried there. That's interesting.
Yeah, his dad's buried there. But she is so young looking. I mean, she's so young and he's so old looking.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not one to stand in the way of true love. Like, I get it. Like, I have family members who had very, very big age gaps in their relationships. So I'm not necessarily discounting that.
That big?
But not that, no, not that big. Not that big. I just think too, like, it's different if, so wait, what does that math work out to? Like 73 and 24, what does that math work out to? Somebody do it for me really quickly. 40 plus years?
Almost 50, yeah.
I mean, it's not even she could be his father or he could be her father. He could be her grandfather. Her grandfather. And here's the thing. I don't care. Say what you want to say. I don't believe for one. What does she see in him other than the fact that he's Bill Belichick?
Right.
Come on. Come on.
Well, Ryan, do you have any girlfriends who are with significantly older men? Or have had girlfriends that have done that?
Significantly older men.
Let's say 10 plus years.
No, not 10 plus years. No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the age gap. That age gap is significant.
Yeah. And like, you almost think like, all right, maybe it's a money thing, but she is like hyper involved in all of
all
the
UNC, emails.
All the emails. So it's almost like, is she trying to jockey for a business role or a job, like moving forward, where she's going to dump Bill when she's used all of Bill's juice that she needs?
I have one of my best friends from high school. Her husband is 12 years younger than her. Even
that 12, like you're living in like different times. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Rob, do you know anybody who has an age gap like that?
No, I don't.
I don't know. Anyway, sticking with the NFL, NFL draft. Any takeaways from the NFL draft this week with how Shedeur Sanders was handled or anything that jumps out to you?
Yeah, this is one of my topics for today. Dude, the whole thing is just such a racket. Like, as far as Shador Sanders goes too, like the kid could literally go visit Trump too, put out a statement like Saquon and just get shit on as well. So anything he does, I think it's just his family name. Anything he does, he's going to get shit on. But it is cool to see that he did get picked up. The prank call to me, I think, is like the funniest thing out of the whole weekend. Like I think
That's pretty funny.
the defensive coordinator's son from the Atlanta Falcons got Shador's number, prank called him that he got drafted. Like, you know, the whole cabal that the Sanders family did for him just to wait it out and see him get picked, and then he gets prank called, you know, like round 3 on Saturday. Like it was just that was kind of funny.
I didn't
But
think that was funny. I'm sorry, I didn't think that was
really,
funny.
I thought it was funny. I thought
Because
I
here's
thought it was
why.
sad.
Yeah, exactly. Like at the end of the day, whether you like Shador Sanders or not, like this is still his life. He's trying to take his career to the next level.
right.
So imagine if you were sitting around waiting for a job offer and one of your friends was like, oh, I'm going to mess with Rob and tell him we're offering him a job and it's not real. So I don't know, maybe I've gotten soft as I become a father, but like that part bothered me. The prank call, like I don't find that to be that funny. And also what an idiot that kid is thinking that it's not eventually going to get back to him. And especially these kids now, I'm old man shaking my fist and yelling at the cloud right now. Stop putting stuff online. Like you're in the
what I'm getting
video.
at. That's what
You're
I'm
an
getting at.
idiot, kid.
The fact
Yeah.
that like the prank call itself is very, I mean, it kind of reminds me of something you would do in like the 80s or 90s when we were kids. Like that's why I think it's funny. It's just such a simple fucking thing.
Yeah.
And the Sanders family should be able to take it. Come on, you're the fucking Sanders family. Like a prank call isn't going to kill you. But the fact that it was uploaded on both sides is also kind of funny to me. Like as a social media marketer, I just think the whole thing is just fucking funny and stupid. Like it's just so dumb. And the fact that got out and there was already so much pressure on him and like Mel Kiper's losing his shit because Shador hasn't been drafted yet. Like the whole thing is just like, he hasn't even played yet. Like we're just talking about him getting selected by a team. That's what's so funny about it. It's just like our like the NFL just never ends. It's such a complex like system. There's always something going on, and some prank call like almost made national news, which I think is funny. But my Giants picked some good guys.
Yeah, I think the Giants had a good draft for sure.
Jackson Dart, Dula Carter.
Yeah. Ryan, did you see there was a player from Navy I saw got drafted?
Oh,
Ooh.
I didn't see that. Who? I
Gosh.
totally did not see that. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh shoot. It was like maybe like the 6th or 7th round. Something Lane is his last name, maybe.
I don't know. That's awesome.
Yeah. Rayon Lane.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah. 6th round by the Jags.
Nice.
Okay.
So good for him. And then Lucas Scott from Army got an invite to a couple mini camps. So we'll see how that works out.
The Giants.
I feel like, we keep going back and forth on whether academy kids can go pro, whether they can't go pro.
Yeah.
We just need one ruling and just stick with that. And let's just move forward because the seesaw back and forth really hurts all these schools in terms of the recruiting, whether or not they're going to be able to tell a kid like, hey, we can get you to the league. Because clearly we've demonstrated that at all these schools, at the service academies, every few years you're going to get that level of talent that can go play at the next level. And I think they should. So hopefully it works out for these kids to be able to go and play at the next level. So we'll see how that plays out. And also, I'm not at liberty yet to go into detail, but as it pertains to the service academies and NIL, I will say there is something in the works to combat the lack of NIL for academy athletes. So stay tuned for that. We're working on it.
Very interested in hearing about that.
Yes, I will tell you offline.
Okay.
But just know that it is being discussed to figure out a way to address that for the academy athletes.
Very cool.
Yes, very, very cool. But Saquon sitting around all weekend was probably getting tired, probably used some coffee, and hopefully while he was waiting around to get picked, he had some Stella Blue coffee. Because at Stella Blue Coffee. They believe good coffee is one of life's non-negotiables. Their delicious roasts are available in cold brew, K-Cups, ground, and whole bean formats to seamlessly fit into your morning coffee routine. Dion, former Barstool Sports employee, I think he has plenty of Stella Blue, so I would not be surprised if Shador was drinking Stella Blue. And the good news about Stella Blue, every purchase helps save homeless pets. Everybody knows the story of Dan Katz's dog, Stella, was the origin of this coffee brand. So every little bit goes back to help other homeless pets. So now you can fuel your mornings with Battle Bar's new dark chocolate espresso protein bars, crispy, delicious energy bars infused with real Stella Blue coffee. Each bar packs 70 grams of protein, 100 milligrams of natural caffeine, and 0 fake sugars to keep you powered up and dialed in. Every bite is battle tested and Big Cat approved. Battle Bars, of note, is a veteran-owned brand and proud partner of Operation Enduring Warrior, whose mission is to honor, empower, and motivate our nation's wounded military and law enforcement veterans through physical, mental, and emotional rehabilitation. We here at Bold American love veteran-run organizations, so get you some Battle Bars. So shop today at StellaBlueCoffee.com or BattleBars.com while supplies last. All right, we're going to just go into one more topic because I'm hanging on by a thread.
Yeah.
As I said at the top, Ryan's got stuff to go do. She's got to go play golf, which I can appreciate. And Rob is a busy man today as well. So I feel like this conversation rears its ugly head every few years on the internet. But there was a tweet that went mega super viral this weekend. 223 million views, which is absurd for these days.
Yeah.
I think 100 guys could beat one gorilla. Everybody just got to be dedicated to the shit. So 100 guys versus one gorilla. Who you got? Rob?
100 guys.
Brian?
So Sands and I were having this conversation before we went on, and I was like, I would like to think that 100 guys with semi-formed brains could beat one gorilla. But I don't know. I mean, if you put together a plan, I don't know. Jury still, I think I may be going with the gorilla because it's also, isn't the 100 guys, one gorilla also about like they have to be like certain parameters. It's just kind of, I don't want to say regular guys, but they can't have like a certain amount of training. There's like parameters around it. There's something around it. Like they can't be like former military. Sands was reading off what it was.
Sands, what is it?
Let me see. So it was like an overview, an AI overview that got sent to me. It's just, so the introduction is like an open field, no cover where 100 unarmed men, average civilians, not athletes or soldiers, with no coordinated strategy. It's a chaotic free-for-all melee. Maybe I'm taking the gorilla.
Yeah, I feel like if that's the plan, I might take the gorilla. No coordinated plan, no athletes, no former service members, just, I'm envisioning I can't tell you what I'm envisioning, but I don't think the guys are going to win.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the one thing I think about is like, yeah, you got 100 guys, but I mean, that's a lot of bodies. You can't have 100 guys hitting the gorilla at one time, right? So maybe at most you can have like 10 dudes fighting him at once. So the 100 is more like, all right, we got some reserves. But I don't know. I think like, you go after his vitals, maybe you hit him in the crotch and does that hurt a gorilla? I don't know. I think I'm going with the guys though, ultimately, because I think eventually you get, after he rips the head off of one dude, a gorilla's bite is really, really forceful. So maybe he rips a dude's arm off with his mouth. I think you mess up a few guys. So you might have to sacrifice like 10 or 20 to start. But I think eventually like the crew gets together and
the gorilla
gets
gets
to overcome
tired.
this gorilla.
The gorilla gets tired.
Exactly.
I got some gorilla stats for you. All right. So weighing 300 to 500 pounds. Okay. And then their bite, as you mentioned, Cons, is 1,300 PSI. And then
How does that relate to like a a golden retriever, like a dog.
I don't think a dog's biting that hard.
Yeah.
No, dog's definitely not biting that hard.
They're also 20 to 25 miles per hour on the ground. So you got to keep up with that thing too. And there's side to side movement. You know,
they can jump, pretty high and climb up the tree and shit.
You guys are just letting Tarzan get to your brain. All right, they're not bringing rifles in this fight. And I'm taking the ape.
I think all the guys out there talking about if 100 guys should beat a gorilla, like I think we should go back to Spartan times and like get this going. We'd sell a lot of freaking tickets to watch.
Imagine,
this.
Oh my god,
like a coliseum, just one gorilla and 100 guys.
Wow, that would do. Like Peter would probably hate that, but that would do numbies. That would do a lot of ticket sales, a lot of views. That would be crazy. Oh my goodness. I'm going with the 100 guys though, because I think Rob makes the best point. Is that eventually you're going to tire that gorilla out, and his endurance won't be able to endure.
I think the gorillas have a lot of like fast twitch muscles, but I don't think they have like cardio endurance. Like for the Mannion WOD, like they couldn't do that. Like they could probably do like a couple squats, but then they're gonna get exhausted. They're not gonna last.
Okay. All right. Well, unless we get this on Netflix soon, I guess we'll never know. But so wait, finally, I'm going the guys. Ryan, you're going gorillas.
I'm going gorillas.
And
Gorilla.
I'm going 100 guys for sure.
Okay.
Sands, what about you?
Sands.
I'm taking the apes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, 2-2. All right. Interesting. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Any caveats, anything we missed, anything we need to mention going into this week?
No, next week though, I'll lock an interview with Major Allison Brager. We'll talk sleep, wellness, and potential psychedelic treatment for military service members.
Okay, cool. Ryan, how do you feel about golf today? Who are you playing with?
I am playing with Brian Stortz, the veteran and founder of Flags of Valor.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. I know him. Tell him I said hello.
Yes. So he will be riding the cart together. And then I have 2 other Army veterans I'm golfing with. It's a beautiful day. Super excited. Yeah.
I'm very jealous. Very jealous of you.
Yeah.
I got one thing I want to throw in there. The Belichick interview that you talked about.
Yes.
We got to get Belichick a new Navy shirt. I don't know how you're doing an interview with a Navy shirt with a hole right under your neck, and then Jordan's wearing a nice Navy sweater. What's going on there?
Here's my theory on that, Sands. I actually think that's his dad's sweatshirt. It looks super
It has to be something.
I don't think that.
Yeah.
I was looking because I was like, why the hell is he wearing a ripped sweatshirt? And then I was looking at it. I'm like, I think that's his dad's.
I mean, that's also his MO, to be fair. That's his MO, cutting off sleeves of sweatshirts, wearing raggedy sweatshirts. Like Belichick's done that for years, but.
Yeah, but this one looks super vintage, but I could be wrong. It just could be an old, dirty Navy sweatshirt he pulled out of his drawer. Who knows?
It's just crazy to me, though, for his girlfriend having her hands all over that interview. She allowed him to go into the interview looking like that, like he just got out of bed. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the sweatshirt, like whatever. He's a Navy guy from Navy family. I get it. Put on a nice shirt, comb your hair. Like I get, his whole like MO is like, I don't really care. I don't care what other people think. I look like a slob. I don't care. Bill, maybe you should care. Maybe you should set an example for your players. Because honestly, like at the collegiate level, not everyone's going to the NFL. Most guys aren't going to the NFL. So what are you teaching your guys? Like, hey, you're going in for an interview and you look like a slob. Like,
yeah,
Bill,
he looks super disheveled.
What example are you setting for them? So I think that's the big takeaway from that.
And he's the head coach of UNC. Like he's still coaching.
That's the other thing. If I was a UNC alum, I'd be like, this is our head coach.
Yeah,
sweatshirt with a hole in it. It looks. I mean, listen. There was a previous athletic director whose name I won't say at Army who always looked kind of disheveled. The shirt was like, hair was never really combed, and I was like, this is what you look like.
He was hitting the bottle hard too, Connor. He was hitting the bottle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Well, you got a sharp looking athletic director now.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
He's one of us. He's one of us.
Yeah.
So.
Love it.
All right. That's going to do it for us today. Take care. Make it a great week.